Hello, my name is Ram and welcome to another video of Matuklasan, and in this video, we'll talk about simple and compound interest. When people need to secure funds for some purposes, one of the ways they usually resort to is borrowing. On the other hand, the person or institution which lends the money would also wish to get something in return for the use of the money. Let's take a look at this example. To buy a smartphone for her son's online class, Martina went to her neighbor Tessie and borrowed 5,000 pesos at 10% interest for 1 year. Since Martina has to pay 5,500 after a year, she plans to sell rugs as an extra source of income. To understand the situation, we need to familiarize ourselves with these concepts. The debtor or maker is the person who borrows the money for any purpose. So in this situation, Martina is the debtor or the maker. The lender is the person or institution which loans the money. In this case, it's a person, so Tessie here is called the lender. The interest is the payment for the use of borrowed money. So, since Martina borrowed 5,000 from Tessie, she paid 5,500. So, the interest in this case is 500 pesos. You can get it by subtracting 5,500 with 5,000. The capital or sum of money invested is called the principal. In this example, the principal is 5,000 pesos. The rate of interest, on the other hand, is the fractional part of the principal that is paid on the loan. Here, it is expressed as a percentage and it's 10%. The time or term is the number of units of the time for which the money is borrowed and for which interest is calculated. And since Martina needs to pay the loan to Tessie in 1 year, the term is 1 year. The final amount, or sometimes called maturity value, is the sum of the principal and interest which is accumulated at a certain time. The final amount in this example is 5,500. Sometimes the principal is called the present value if the amount received by the borrower is being discussed. So here we can call this the present value because it's the amount borrowed by the borrower. Simple interest is a type of interest in which only the original principal bears interest for the entire term of the loan. That is why the formula is just I equals PRT, wherein we just need to multiply the rate to the principal times the time T, which is usually expressed in number of years. Now, to get the final amount, we just need to add the P or the principal plus I, which is the interest. If you're looking for the interest and the final amount and the principal amount are given, you just need to subtract these two values. From this formula, we can also create another or an alternative solution if the interest is not yet given. So we all know that we have F equals P plus the interest, and interest has the formula PRT. By factoring the principal value, we have 1 plus RT. So, in case you are looking for the final amount and the interest is not yet given while you have the rate and the time, you can use this formula. As I mentioned a while ago, the time T is always expressed in years. So, if ever the number of months is given, you can use the formula number of months divided by 12. Let's have our first example. Maymay is investing 200,000 pesos for 3 years. The interest rate is 5.4%. How much interest will Maymay earn after 3 years? Here, the invested amount is the principal in the formula. 3 years is the value of T. And 5.4% is the rate. So, using the formula I equals PRT, we will have 200,000 times 5.4% times 3. So if you're going to include the percentage symbol in your calculator, this is enough. But if you don't have a percentage symbol on your calculator, you can always transform this percentage into a decimal value. You just need to move the decimal 2 places on the left. So in this case, this is 0.054. By getting the value on your calculator, the answer is 32,400 pesos. So the interest that Maymay will get after 3 years is 32,400 pesos. Next problem. Find the interest and amount on 21,000 pesos at 7 1/4% simple interest for 9 months. So here, 21,000 pesos is the principal amount. 7 1/4% or can be written as 7.25% is the value of R. 9 months is T, but it is expressed in months. So we need to divide it by 12 because our formula I equals PRT is in terms of years. So since the principal is 20,000 or 21,000 pesos, I just need to multiply it to 7 1/4 or 7.25% times 9/12. And using your calculator, the value that you will get is 1,141.88 pesos. Now, even though we got the interest, which is 1,141 pesos, we are not yet done because we still need to get the final amount. So this means the final amount. And the formula for the final amount is as simple as principal plus the interest. We know here that the principal is 21,000 pesos. So adding the interest of 1,141.88 will give us a final amount of 22,141.88 pesos. As I mentioned a while ago, if you are after the final amount right away, you can use the formula P times 1 plus rate times the time. Here, the principal is 21,000 pesos. 1 plus the rate is 7.25% times 9/12, which is our time, will also give us the value of 22,141.88 pesos. So we will get the same answer. If a principal of 6,500 earns interest of 192 pesos in 3 years and 3 months, what interest rate is in effect? So this time, rate is missing. And we can still derive the formula using the formula I equals PRT. To derive the formula, all you need to do is divide both sides by the principal and time. And it will give us the formula for R, which is I over PT. Or you can use the triangle analogy to remember the formulas easily. So if the rate is missing, all you need to do is to divide I with P and T. And if the principal is missing, you just need to divide the interest using R and T. Likewise, if T is missing, all you need to do is to divide I with P and R. Going back to the problem, the interest is 192 pesos. Divide it with 6,500 times the value of T. This time it's 3 years and 3 months, and in fraction it means 3 and 3 over 12. Using the formula, you would get, or you would be able to get this value, 0.0091. I made it 4 decimal places because we have 2 significant figures here. So this rate is in decimal form. Note that 3 and 3 over 12 here is just equal to 3.25 in decimal form. And if you want to convert it to percentage, or I mean the rate, you just need to multiply it to 100. So multiplying this to 100 will give us 0.91, and just place the percentage symbol or the percent symbol. So the rate is 0.91%. How long will it take for 9,000 pesos to earn 2,100 if it is invested at 6.5 simple interest? So here, 9,000 pesos is the principal amount. 2,100 is the interest. And the rate is 6.5%, or this is just equal to 6.5%. If the time is missing, all you need to do is to divide I with the principal and the rate. The interest here is 2,100 divided by 9,000 times the rate, which is 6.5%. So the answer here is 3.59 years. Aside from simple interest, we also have compound interest. This is the resulting value when the interest is periodically added to the principal, and this new sum is used as the new principal for a certain number of periods. In short, the interest is computed repeatedly for a certain conversion period. Compounding or conversion period is the time between the successive interest computations. Let M be the number of conversion periods and N total number of conversion periods. So if the conversion period is annually, M is equal to 1. If it's semi-annually or semi-annually, it's 2. Quarterly means M equals 4, and if it's monthly, M is equal to 12. So if we want to get the total number of conversion periods, we just need to multiply time and the number of conversion periods, M. For example, if the term is 4 years, then if it's compounded annually, N is equal to 4 because 4 is T and 1 is the equivalence of annually in M. If it's semi-annually, it's N equals 8 because 4 times 2 is 8. If it's compounded quarterly, M is equal to 4, therefore 4 times 4 is 16. If it's compounded monthly, M is 12, time is still 4, so 4 times 12 is 48. In a compound interest, instead of using interest rate, we use the periodic rate, which is equal to R divided by M. R here is the usual interest rate, and M, as we all know, is the conversion period per year. In the formula, it is easier to get the final amount first because it's just equal to P for the principal times 1 plus I, which is the periodic rate, raised to N, or the total number of conversion periods for the whole term. If you want to get the interest, you just need to subtract the principal from the final amount. Remember that I is equal to R over M and N is equal to T times M. Let's have this example. Compute the amount or maturity value of a note at the end of 3 years. If the principal or face value is 80,000 pesos and the interest rate is 6% compounded semi-annually. So a note or a bank note is a negotiable promissory note which one party can use to pay another party a specific amount of money. A bank note is payable to the bearer on demand, and the amount payable is apparent on the face value of the note. So the maturity value here is like the final amount in a compounded interest. So in this case, we just need to use the formula F equals principal times 1 plus I raised to n. The principal value here is 80,000 pesos. So this is 80,000 times 1 plus the formula for I is R over M. Since the rate is 6%, I need to divide it by M. M here is semi-annually, so this is equal to 2. So raising this to N, which is T times M, we have 3 times M, which is 2. Note that before using your calculator, you need to choose whether you will use 6% by pressing the percent symbol on your calculator or transforming 6% into 0.06. And this is an exponent, so you need to explore the exponent function of your calculator. So using your calculator, we'll get the value of 95,524.18 pesos. And this is now the maturity value of the banknote after 3 years compounded semi-annually. On January 23, 2017, a man borrowed 150,000 pesos and promised to pay the principal and interest at 9% compounded annually on January 23, 2019. How much did he pay in total? Now, the first thing that we need to identify here is the time. So the number of years that passed from January 23 to 2019 is 2 years. The interest rate is 9%. It is compounded annually, so M is equal to 1. What else can we get? What is 150,000 pesos here? Yes, the principal amount is 150,000 pesos. And now we just need to compute for the total amount that he paid, referring to the final amount. So F is equal to principal, which is 150,000 times 1 plus R over M. R here is 9% and it is compounded annually, so it's over 1 raised to T times M or N. So since T is what? Yes, 2 years. We just need to multiply it to 1 because M is equal to 1. By using your calculator, the final amount now or the total number of his payment is 178,215 pesos. Find the compound interest if 5,500 is invested at 8% compounded quarterly for 5 years and 6 months. So to compute for the compound interest, we need to subtract the final amount with the principal value, which is 5,500. So we need to get the F. F is equal to the principal value, which is 5,500 times 1 plus R over M. R here is 8% and M is 4 because it is compounded quarterly. Raised to N equals T times M. 5 years and 6 months, meaning t is equal to 5 and 6 over 12. Or we can just write 5.5 years. So here, t is 5.5 and m is 4. Now, using your calculator, the value is, or the final amount is 8,502.89 pesos. We're not yet done because we are really looking for I equals F minus P. Since F is 8,502.89, subtracting 5,500, which is the principal value, will give us what? Will give us 3,002.89 pesos. Accumulation is the process of determining the amount of a given principal value due at a specified time. To accumulate a principal P for T years just means to solve for the final amount. So again, we just need to use the formula final amount in the compound interest. Accumulate 10,400 for 2 years at 7% compounded monthly. So using the formula F equals the principal, which is 10,400, multiplied to 1 plus 7% divided by 12, because m is equal to 12. T here is equal to 2 and m is equal to 12. Using your calculator, the answer is 11,957.98 pesos. If the time is missing, all you need to do is use the formula T equals logarithm of final value divided by P, or the principal, divided by logarithm of 1 plus I, which is equal to R over M, divided by M. For example, how long will it take 5,000 to amount to 6,100 if the interest rate is 6% compounded quarterly? So for this, I'm going to need T is equal to logarithm of 6,100, which is the final amount, divided by 5,000, which is the principal value. We have logarithm here, 1 plus I, which is 6% divided by 4 because it is compounded quarterly. Divide this by 4, or m. Remember that you need to simplify this first and then divide this with your answer here on the denominator. After getting the final value of this left side of the expression, you need to divide the answer by 4. So in this case, it's 3.34. And this is in terms of years. If the rate is missing, you can use the formula R equals M times final value divided by principal value raised to 1 over N. Remember that N here is equal to T times M. Subtract it with 1 times 100 to make it a percentage. Let's have this example. If 3,050 accumulates to 5,000 in 4 years, what is the interest rate if it is compounded monthly? To get the rate, we have R equals M. It is compounded monthly, so this is 12 times the final value, which is 5,000, divided by the principal, which is 3,050. And we need to raise this to 1 over N. We all know that N is T times M. So this is T, which is equal to 4 years. M, which is equal to 12, or monthly. Minus 1 and multiply the answer by 100 to make it a percentage. so that the answer is 12.42. We need to write the percent symbol because this answer is in terms of percentage. And that's all for this video. If you want more video tutorials in math, please check my playlists in the description down below. And please, 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 like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video!